So this week in sports, the year of 2017, along with the NFL regular season, has come to a close. But not without heartache for at least three fan bases, starting with the Cleveland Browns. The 0-15 Browns were determined to finish their season with a win against their divisional foes, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and for a moment, the stars were aligning for just that. 4th and 2 at the Steelers' 27-yard line with 1:53 left in the game. Browns need a touchdown to take the lead. Deshone Kizer, who's dealt with intense criticism all rookie year long, somehow avoids the pass rush with the pocket collapsing around him, scrambles to his left, throws to an open Corey Coleman, only to drop the wide open pass. I feel bad for Kizer, I really do, partly because you can see the frustration in his face after he did all he could to keep the drive alive to give the Browns a chance to win their only game of the season. But not only that, but as a Vikings fan, I know the feeling. Week 17 of the 2007 season at Denver, second-year quarterback Tavares Jackson was still trying to establish himself as a franchise quarterback, only to have Troy Williamson let him down with multiple wide-open drops. Keep your head up, Deshone. None of the top quarterback prospects want to be drafted by Cleveland anyway, so that gives you the open gate to possibly compete for the starting position next year and hopefully turn things around. I also feel bad for the Baltimore Ravens. They were eliminated from playoff contention after losing to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-27. The thing is, the Ravens controlled their own destiny. Had they won that game, they'd be in the playoffs right now. And what's worse is not just that they lost, it's how they lost. 4th and 12 at Ravens' 49-yard line with 53 seconds left. Bengals have the ball down by 3. Everything about this situation favors Baltimore. Andy Dalton, at best, is a league-average quarterback. You combine that with the fact that the Baltimore Ravens' pass defense is top 10 in the league in terms of yards per game allowed and completion percentages by opposing quarterbacks. So if you're a Ravens fan, you're thinking to yourself, what? Andy Dalton has to make a play on 4th and 12 against our defense at our house? Oh, we good. See, this guy gets it. There's nothing to worry about.
Ravens trying to end it here. 4th down. Dalton steps up. Dalton throws.
They really got the first down? You know what? It's whatever. Make the tackle. They've got no more timeouts. Force the field goal. Worst case, we go into overtime. We got the best kicker in the league. We're good.
It's complete. Caught by Boyd. Tyler Boyd. Touchdown.
I feel bad for the Ravens because, again, as a Vikings fan, I can relate. 2003, Week 17, the Vikings also controlled their own destiny, and had they beat the Arizona Cardinals, they would have made it to the playoffs. Cardinals had the ball 4th and 24. Vikings were up 17-12 with 5 seconds left, and the Cardinals somehow completed a game-ending touchdown to eliminate the Vikings from going to the playoffs. Now, for the Ravens fans, I know this stings a little bit, but at the end of the day, you've got 2 Super Bowl championships. You'll be just fine. This too shall pass. And in light of the new year of 2018, I made a couple of New Year's resolutions to myself. I'm not going to share them all with you. I'll share just one. I will no longer verbally bash Blair Walsh, starting tomorrow. You know what? I feel a little bad for the Seattle fans. I feel no sympathy whatsoever for the front office of the Seattle Seahawks. What's interesting is not only was it obvious how bad Blair Walsh has been in his career, hell, when he was a Viking, I was calling for his job for the last 2 or 3 years. I'm sure he's a nice guy and a great human being, and that's all well and fantastic. But in terms of being an NFL kicker, a professional football kicker, the dude's a bum. He's mentally fragile. But not only was it obvious how bad he's been in his career, but you had front row seats to the dumpster fire known as Blair Walsh, Seattle Seahawks. Blair Walsh cost the Seattle Seahawks 3 games this year. And the last thing I want to see from the front office of the Seahawks is shock. Not only did you let a more reliable kicker than Steven Hauschka walk away in free agency, you went out of your way to sign Blair Walsh as his replacement. By the way, Hauschka, how's your team doing right now? But you know what? There's been plenty of bums that have walked through the franchise of the Minnesota Vikings. I wouldn't be sitting here spending my time talking about Blair Walsh if it wasn't for this dude bitching and moaning to the media. Oh, I don't know what it is you want from me. They're media members. They gotta ask you the questions that the fans want to know. Why do you stink at making kicks? You have one job. Why do you suck at your one job? And then not only that, you go over to Seattle. You go into a preseason game and you against the Minnesota Vikings and you point your finger to the head coach Mike Zimmer and the Minnesota Vikings after you make a field goal in the preseason. Congratulations. And then the regular season starts and you cost the Seattle Seahawks 3 games. You're a bum. And as much as I bash Blair Walsh, I cannot ignore the irony in the kicking situation that we have right now. I understand that the Vikings have clinched the number 2 seed in the NFC. They'll have the bye week and they'll have at least 1 home game in the playoffs. And, well deserved for most of the players, they may deserve a little bit of time off, maybe a couple of days before they get back in the swing of things and practice and game plan and get ready to hopefully make a run to win the Super Bowl at US Bank Stadium. However, if I see any reports that Kai Forbath is doing anything other than working on his kicking game during the bye week and even during the days off in which the players may have some time off, I am going to lose it. Kai Forbath, I've defended you all year long, dude, but the last couple of weeks, I am very concerned. The one thing that I've said that you have over Blair Walsh is that you have the mental fortitude. You've shown the mental fortitude of putting a bad kick behind you and moving forward with the next kick. But the last couple of weeks, I'm a little bit concerned, man. We have arguably the best defense in the NFL. The offensive line is the most improved unit on this Vikings team. And Case Keenum has done a very good job as quarterback under Pat Shurmur's offense. This all comes down to you, Kai Forbath, because in the playoffs, you're facing other teams that are arguably just as good as you are. Certainly, the games will be tighter, and oftentimes in the playoffs, the games come down to kicks. Don't you F this up, Kai Forbath. Happy New Year's, everyone.